Hello, welcome to Studio Pixel. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create an ambient occlusion pass in Autodesk Maya. Now, for creating this, I have already created a simple scene where I put a plane, a polygonal plane, a polycube, a polysphere, and a polycylinder. So, first of all, I'd like to show you how to create in a very easy way, and then I will explain the whole thing and what is the behind of that particular steps. So first select all the object that you want to include in the ambient occlusion and go to the render option and put it inside one single layer, like the last option you'll find over here, that is create new layer and assign the selected objects, and you just rename this layer as AO or ambient occlusion. Now, for creating ambient occlusion, you need the mental ray. So first of all, go to Windows, Setting Preferences, and under the plugin manager, you should see that Maya 2 MR is loaded. If it's not loaded, then you cannot create the ambient occlusion, because ambient occlusion, for creating ambient occlusion, Maya needs the ambient occlusion shader from the mental ray. Okay, so after putting that in a render layer, just right click on that and go to the attributes. When the attribute editor opens, go to the AO tab, which is the layer name that you have created. Though you can name this layer as according to your requirement. As for this tutorial purpose, I am just renaming this as AO. Okay, now in this tab, you will find there is an option called presets, and here you can find out all the passes that you required for basics, and here you will find that ambient occlusion pass as an occlusion. The moment you hit occlusion, immediately you can see the entire object has been getting dark and a surface shader has been implied. Now if you hit render, you can see the result has already been created, and the ambient occlusion is actually been calculating in your scene. Ambient occlusion creates the where the two surface is coming closer, and it's created kind of a shade, a secondary shading, so that it gives you a depth impression of your three-dimensional object. So this is the most easy way to create that. Now let me explain you how these things actually been worked. What is actually happened, that automatically it's applied a surface shader material into it, and under the surface shader material there is an option called out color, and in the out color they apply the MIB ambient occlusion 1 material map, sorry, the shader into it. So this is the actual process. Now let me show you how you can actually create this by manual creation. So I'm just going back to few steps. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll just go to rendering editor, hypershade. Okay, so in the hypershade, you see this is surface shader is on. So select the surface shader, again select all the objects, right click and assign material to selection. The same thing has happened, it's become black and the surface shader is applied. Now you can see the out color is actually empty. Now what I have to do, I have to click on the checker box, and from the list of the mental ray, okay, under the texture you'll find it the mental ray ambient MIB ambient occlusion. So click on that and it will be assigned, and if you hit render again, oops, it's in Maya software, go to mental ray and hit render, and here you can see it is already been created. But you can see this the basic the structure, the calculation is completely different, because I haven't changed the environment color to white, which has been automatically done while I select that presets. So it is very safe to calculate the basic uh, structure of your ambient occlusion scene uh, through the presets, and then you can manipulate these parameters over here. Now first of all is the samples, and you can see that the ambient occlusion is quite noisy. To increase this noise, you need to increase the samples, right? If I hit 64, and if I hit render on this particular region, and you can see this immediately, this noise has been reduced. And I also need to select the camera, and under the camera you'll find environment, and change the environment to white. And if you hit render now you can see this a more light source has been put into it. So coming back to the surface shader, under that increase the samples, and even sometimes you need to get back to the more samples to increase the quality over your occlusion. Here you can see that the noise has been reduced in a very huge way. But yes, definitely your rendering time will also going to increase for that. And later on you can adjust the brightness and the dark areas colors if you want your darker areas to be lesser dark, or maybe not exactly the black. You want to compose it with through a gray shade, not to the darker, and that you can do. And see, your render or the dark areas is coming much more lighter than the previous one. So it's absolutely up to you how you actually need that, how you actually planning to how much darkness you have required for that. And the next option is the spread, that will actually give you an idea of how much this shadow or shade is actually spreading. If you use a higher spreading value, then what is going to happen is you lose this details over here. And if you decrease in a very greater number, and the contact areas is going to be too dark. So you have to find out a point where your actually spreading value is working perfectly. Now maximum distance is actually connected with the spread value. Now by default the maximum distance value is 0, and you can increase to a higher value, so that you can adjust that particular distance from the object. The shaders, the shade of this contact areas is actually controlled by the maximum distance. So you need to increase the if you set it to the default value, it automatically calculates the shading distance. But if you want to increase the maximum values, then you have to opt out for the compositing purpose. Then I will definitely recommend that you increase the maximum distance to maybe 0.5, 0.6 or something, so that, or it's absolutely depend upon the scene's requirement. But let me tell you one thing, that if you are taking this very huge amount of scene, then it will take a huge amount of rendering time also. So scaling factor is a very important factor for the ambient occlusion, for taking the ambient occlusions. So larger scene you have, so ambient occlusion will be something really great. Now you can see this, it's been actually manually being controlled by this maximum distance. So if you hit 0, that is the basic distance that the actually computer calculates, and it gives you automatically a nice shade effect on your scene. So this is also really interesting for ambient occlusion. So this is the way that I would like to, I generally first I would like to put it into a render layer, and go to the attributes, and change it to the attributes to the occlusion. And that's how I generally found it's a very easy and also very handy way to create a very nice looking ambient occlusion. And later on, after creating the basic look and the basic structure, I can then increase the amount of samples from here. You can see maybe 64 right now, and if you hit render, and you can see immediately the splotches or the noise effect that was coming in the default 16 samples. It will be gone, and you have a nice crispy final look for your ambient occlusion, which you can save it and use it for the compositing purpose. So hope you enjoy this tutorial, and please like our Facebook page, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay updated. Thank you very much.